Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Viceroy of Verisimilitude, your Master of Fun and Wonder, your existential Mr. Rogers, Robert Meyer Burnett, coming at you from the John Campea Show. And he has graciously asked me to do yet another companion video for his Rise of Skywalker spoiler review. Let me tell you, a lot of you guys fired in questions, and man, I already did one part. I'm doing another part. It's incredible. So let's just jump right into this and let's see what you have to say. Nick Piacentio sent a $3.78 super chat. I just read the first issue of the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. It's so much more interesting than the Rise of Skywalker film. That makes me sad. Well, Nick, sometimes the writers that write extended universe fiction or comics or novels frequently spend a lot more time thinking about the universe than the actual filmmakers, because there's just a lot more of it to cover on the printed page or even when it's a comic. But I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I do. GGB sent a $7.56 super chat. I absolutely love this movie, but I wonder, did Leia and Luke always know that Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter? I don't think they did. If they knew it, they would have gone to get her. They wouldn't have left her on Jakku. I don't think they did. I really don't. Robert sent a $2 super chat. After Ben dies, he wasn't a ghost. Will he return? I doubt it. I think he's out of there. You know what? I always thought he was beyond redemption. He killed his dad. You don't come back from killing Han Solo. You just don't. But maybe. I mean, who knows? Jason Squires tipped $5. The quicksand scene where Poe is about to tell Rey something before they went under and never got around to telling her. I read online that JJ had said to a fan after a Q&A event that Poe was going to tell her he is force sensitive. You know what? If you believe that, I've got a bridge I want to sell you. No way. I mean, the poor Finn has been waiting for 3 movies to tell Rey he loved her, and he didn't get to do it. He didn't get to do it. That's what I think, anyway. It's kind of a bummer. Robert sent a $2 super chat. They should have done 4 movies, too much story. Well, I think that's too much for Disney to do. They're a little risk averse. You never know. Isaac Beebe tipped $7.02. Just want to show my support. Well, thank you, Isaac. I have several things I want to write in, but I get the feeling that pretty much everything will be covered in however many parts you end up making for this spoiler review. I loved it overall. Thanks, John, and Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Isaac. That will be tomorrow. I hope you have a good one, and you're with friends, family, or whoever you want to be with. And thank you for supporting the channel. Ryan Lohner sent a $10 super chat. I've never felt so condescended to by a movie. Sorry that last one scared you so much. Come back to this nice, soft place where you never have to think or be challenged. Yeah, I know. I can't argue with you there, Ryan. But look what happened when they made Last Jedi. RJ Technovine sent a 99-cent super chat. John, I got gifted a Disney store Yoda lightsaber. Well, that's a heck of a gift. Just be careful with that. Don't cut off any of your limbs. Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. What was with that they can fly bit? Jetpacks? What's next? Horseless carriages? Yeah, it was pretty wacky. I mean, considering Boba Fett flew with a jetpack 30 years ago. Well, not even 30 years ago, in 1983. So he flew over 35 years ago with a jetpack. I mean, it's not really a stretch. And why did they only send 4 stormtroopers after the fugitives? When they sent more? I don't know. Ryan Lohner sent a $10 super chat. 1 out of 2. My biggest question was that whole thing about Abrams not wanting Rey related to anyone big just from a certain point of view, or did he actually mean it and then fold like a bloodhound's face? Because at this point, the galaxy has such a small gene pool that everyone's probably just hooking up with their relatives. Okay, that explains way too much. Yeah, if any universe needed a little bit more nookie, it's the Star Wars universe. And everybody watching Star Wars movies, well, we all need more nookie too, I think. But yeah, it's a little weird, a little strange. I have questions about all this. Murray Reich sent in a $2 super chat. What we learned from Endgame is even if you are fat like Thor, you can still be awesome. So too from what we learned in The Rise of Skywalker is even if you are disfigured like Palpatine, you can get laid somehow. Well, when you have force powers, hashtag me too means a whole new thing. But yeah, I always got the idea that he was more into cloning. The cloning technology, we saw it in Attack of the Clones, but I'm sure was being used all over the place. At least that's kind of what I thought. In my opinion, Finn is one of the most thirsty movie characters ever. He's been chasing the same girl who basically friend-zoned him in every movie this trilogy. Bro can't move on. Plus, between the past two films, they didn't have a clear purpose or plan with him. Well, I agree with you. Oh, that was Juicy Smoulier said that. Thank you, Juicy Smoulier. I can't agree more with you, sir. I think justice for Finn. How about Nookie for Finn? Hashtag Finn deserves a kiss. I don't know. I think you're right. Alex Haina sent a $5 super chat. It felt like this movie as written to impress rather than written to tell a compelling story. Too many, look, Star Wars moments. Well, Alex, again, very astute. Very astute. Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. Dennis Lawson. Okay, I'll come on for 2 seconds just so my damn nephew will quit bugging me about it. Yeah, but Ryan, that was pretty cool. Everybody knew who he was, too. I like that. Alex Haina sent a $20 super chat. The movie needed to take time to breathe. If you look at the original trilogy, every scene set piece is 20 to 30 minute sequences. There aren't a ton of cuts back and forth from location to location, 5 to 7 locations the entire movie. Yes, I know, but can our attention deficit addled kids today take it? But you're absolutely right, I think. This movie just never stopped. It hit the gas from the get-go and never let up. That was one of my biggest problems, in my opinion. I agree with you, too. I thought it definitely had ADD. It was everywhere. And, the scenes, there were so many intriguing things in this movie, they just didn't develop. And I wish they did. Tony Lamar sent a $1.99 super chat. It was pretty cool seeing John Williams in Rise of Skywalker. You know what? I like that. I got choked up. That was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was coming. Ismail Edo sent a $1.36 super chat. Kylo Ren died with a boner. It's true. I used to have a boner every time I'd kiss a girl. I guess, even as old as I am, I still do. It never gets old. But yes, I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm going to watch The Rise of Skywalker from now on thinking he was raging hard when he died. I guess that's good. Alex Haina sent a $5 super chat. I didn't buy Ben's sudden turn. If Leia truly cared about her son, why didn't she use this method to reach him sooner, even if it meant she would die? I don't know. Again, I think that was some half-baked nonsense, but I gotta say, I was kind of affected by it all. I really like what they did. I wish we'd seen more of that earlier on, but what can you do? Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. During all the Rey and Kylo scenes, I was just thinking of all the Lucas stuff to borrow from. Why strange magic? And it didn't work any better here. Yeah, I know. Strange magic. Sounds Willow-esque to me. Do it for cash, tip $5. The Rise of Skywalker seemed empty-headed to me. I felt there was not much to ponder, whereas with The Last Jedi, at least had me think about what it means to be a Jedi. Could Rey be pregnant after Kylo's life essence transfer? Am I alone in thinking that? I don't know. I've heard people speculate, but once again, it means no one's getting any nookie in the Star Wars universe. I guess that was like what it was like to be a geek in high school. No, I mean, not for me, but for all of you out there, right? Just kidding. But that's very interesting. Why is it with everybody who's a Force user, biology is such a problem? Midi-chlorians, life essence, all this. I mean, there are more pleasurable and interesting ways to get things done, if you know what I'm saying. And I think you do. John, this is my first time commenting you since I saw The Rise of Skywalker. Watched it 3 times. The fan event was amazing Thursday. Well, I am torn. I'm disappointed, but I still liked it a lot. I understood they were trying to bring the Star Wars fandom back together. I get it. Yeah, you got to give it up for them. Oh, that was a fan of Peanuts. Said that. Tip $5. Thanks, fan of Peanuts. You're a big supporter of the channel. We appreciate it. But I totally agree with you. I mean, they had to... Look, I don't... If as a fan of something, I don't care if I am a huge fan or whatever. I don't want filmmakers to service me as a fan. I want them to tell their story, make it a great story, and I, as a fan, will discover it for myself. Anytime you're pandering to fans, you've already lost. At least that's what I think. Dim5 tip $5. This is my Man of Steel. You crazy, Geo. Crazy. This movie is awesome. A couple of takeaways. 1, that sound R2 makes when Leia dies. Crush me, I know. 2, the fans should get a story credit in this movie, Lamau. And 3, what was Anne's reaction in the movie? Well, I agree with the first 2. I don't know what Anne's reaction is, but I am with you. I don't know if I can say it's awesome, but I enjoyed it ultimately. I want to see it again. I've only seen it once. I want to go back and see it again, and I will. But if you liked it, I think it's great. You know, this movie is just as divisive as Last Jedi, but just in a different way, which I kind of find interesting. Alex Haynes sent a $10 super chat. This movie made Last Jedi irrelevant. Literally, the only thing that matters going from The Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker is that Luke is dead. Otherwise, you could go right from The Force Awakens to Rise of Skywalker without skipping a beat. Yeah, but would you want to? I mean, look, Luke dies in Rise of Skywalker, in Last Jedi, or does he? I think it's important. I think there's a lot to enjoy in the developing relationship between Rey and Kylo. I think that's important stuff. Gregory Musantri sent a $1.99 super chat. Palpatine was killed too easily. Your thoughts? You might be right about that. I think it was killed too easily. I think the whole thing was too easy. They should have been developing it over 3 movies. Amir R. tipped $10. Saw Rise of Skywalker again, and I still feel the same about it. Good in parts, but underwhelming on the whole. Loved Palpatine, but felt he was shoehorned into the film. Doing it via the crawl didn't serve him well. Felt like JJ was righting some wrongs. I like The Last Jedi. Amir, I agree with you. How you missed the opportunity of putting his first broadcast on film and seeing the galaxy respond, I don't quite understand. An anonymous tipped $5. The way Luke talked to Rey in The Rise of Skywalker, it's okay to be afraid. What do you fear? Guiding her. The way he taught her as a kind, patient, and wise master mentor. It's the stuff I wish we'd got in episode 8. There are moments on Achto were a nice touch of the film. I love that stuff. I thought Luke was great. Mark Hamill was great. I wish we saw more of that. I totally agree. Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. Sand is rough and coarse and gets everywhere. And now my lightsaber's buried in it. I mean, why? You know what? I know that JJ wanted that final shot of the twin sons of Tatooine. But you know what? I really didn't like the fact that she went and buried those lightsabers. I mean, couldn't they have been put to better use? And again, you know, you're borrowing imagery from somebody else. I think one of the things that J.J. Abrams needs to do is make an original film that's based on characters he created. And don't tell me that Super 8 was totally original. I get it was, but he was just aping Spielberg. I don't know what J.J. Abrams thinks. As a filmmaker, what is his voice? And I'm telling you, I did not dig that. Ashley Short sent in a $25.82 super chat. Ashley, thank you for supporting the channel that way. Coming out of Rise of Skywalker, I couldn't help but feel the Emperor being reintroduced back into the saga via the crawl text was rather lazy storytelling. Am I being too harsh? No. Merry Christmas to you and have a prosperous 2020. You know what? It was lazy storytelling. Show, don't tell. That's the first rule of screenwriting. And what is the first thing we see in the movie? The dead speak? Shouldn't this be something we hear? Really annoying. I don't play Fortnite, so I guess I don't get to hear what he had to say. Amir R. tipped $7. I did leave wondering how it would have been if Snoke stuck around. I like the mystery around his character. Glad people liked it more than I did. Also, why not plan these movies more coherently from the start? Why don't I read more coherently from the start? But I agree with you 100%. I mean, they should have been planned. Why they weren't, I don't know. Maybe even use the same director for all 3. Look, if you want to look no further than Lord of the Rings as a template to do these kinds of movies, look at Lord of the Rings. That was the way to do it. It was great that way. So I'm with you, Amir. Very astute. Ryan Lohner sent in a $10 super chat. Right after Roll It Again, I made a lot of jokes about how they should just have Palpatine show back up with no explanation. Now I know how Jon Stewart felt about Indecision 2000. Yes, you do. Don't ever think those things. If you don't want them to happen, don't think them. Brandon Hulsbus tipped $5. Hey, John, love the show. Been watching since the beginning. Just wanted your thoughts on all the voices Rey heard when she was facing Palpatine. I thought it was cool, but it was hard to hear all of them. We'll have to watch again to pick out who's out. Well, I'll tell you, in the credits, they have a list of all the Jedi. I know because I took a frame grab of it and posted it on Instagram and got yelled at. Oh, well. But see, I did it because people still want to know. Brandon wants to know, and he doesn't know. But maybe I'll post it on Instagram again. People can bitch at me now. HV3 tipped $5. Absolutely unapologetically loved episode 9. Favorite Star Wars movie since the original trilogy. The stuff in this movie was what I've been wanting to see in Star Wars since I was a kid. The Force powers were badass. Well, HV3, thank you for supporting the channel, but I can't go with you there. Look, they were badass, but it seemed like willy-nilly. It's like, oh, you need someone brought back from the dead? Here's some Force powers. I don't know. I wanted to love it more. I really did. Stub McShave tipped $5. I really disliked the fleet. It was basically a Death Star. It could destroy planets. Our heroes must take out its shield, and it served the same narrative function as the Death Star. The economics of it didn't make any sense. Who built it? How? How is it funded? A good point. And by the way, if you have hundreds of Death Star weapons traveling around on Star Destroyers, I mean, come on. Is anyone safe? I agree. Where did all that stuff come from? Where did all those tens of thousands of people come from that man the ships? And what about that Sith temple? You know, were they waiting for like Motley Crue or Iron Maiden? Or, what was that? Sith revival? Like, who were those people? How'd they get there? Were they just sitting there forever in that auditorium just waiting to be graced with the Emperor's presence? Although I do wish they'll build that Sith temple or whatever it was with all those giant statues and that arena in Galaxy's Edge, because I would go all the time. Robert Perez sent in a $2 super chat. I wish I saw more of the Luke and Leia flashback. You know, I thought that worked for me. It made sense. You finally knew that Luke was training Leia, and I thought that was important. I thought that was great. Robert Perez sent a $2 super chat. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. Yeah, I know. Me too. Robert Perez sent another super chat regarding my last That's What She chat. Chewie's reaction to Leia's death had me in tears. Robert, for me too. There was a lot of emotional beats, mostly playing on my love of the original series, but the original trilogy, but still they worked. HV3 tipped $5. I've always understood your arguments as to why you never wanted Rey to be related to anybody, and I somewhat agreed with you, but Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter, Palpatine's granddaughter just worked for me. I also like Zombie Emperor and felt they expanded the lore of the Sith. They did, but it just felt like a lot of it was coming out of nowhere. But I loved Palpatine. I loved seeing him. I thought it was all badass. So I can't complain that much. Dragonborn Druid tipped $5.29. Seeing it tonight, so let me guess. Can't believe Luke's hand's back and he cut off the Emperor's hand. Worried about the Leia scenes, but didn't mind them. Chewie and Lando was awesome. The Knights of Ren fight was intense. They didn't need the Hux Finn dance-off. Well, Dragonborn, I don't think many of those came true, but I do appreciate your creative energy there. I do enjoy that. The Knights of Ren, what a disappointment they've been. I've been hearing about the Knights of Ren for 3 movies now, and they got a few scenes where they wandered around and did stuff. You know, they had a ship that, belched smoke. So, why do the bad guys always have ships that are in disrepair? I don't understand. Except the Empire. The Empire always has nice, sparkling new TIE fighters, and I appreciate that. Anthony Cullen sent a $5 super chat. At the end of The Last Jedi, Rey knew, Luke knew, and most importantly, Leia knew that Ben was gone and there was only Kylo Ren. The Rise of Skywalker undid that. Anthony, I'm right there with you. I mean, this whole weird thing, there was so much interesting stuff going on in The Last Jedi that I think could have been paid off. You might not have liked what happened to Luke. You might not have liked Canto Bight, but there was a lot of other really intriguing stuff that they should have stuck with because I really liked it. Paul tipped $7. Okay, John, hear me out on this. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. As a Star Wars film, Episode 9 is outstanding. However, I went to see Episode 9 as a culmination of 9 films in 42 years of my life, and none of it made any sense, and that left me bitterly disappointed. Well, you know what, Paul? I am kind of with you there. It was a big, fat mess as far as I was concerned. It bummed me out, but hey, what are you going to do? It was disappointing. But there's enough stuff. I liked it. I think, we're all expecting to sort of, I think the amount of pressure this movie had on it, I don't know if we'll ever be able to judge it fairly. I did think it was kind of a mess. It was all over the place. It wanted to be all things to all people, and you can't do that. Suthius tipped $5. They came after me with masterful deceit, broke down my loot, and they kicked in my teeth, while the devil's horns minced our tender meat, and so cried the Witcher, he can't be bleat. Is it bleat or beat? Toss a coin to your Witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty. Suthius, clearly you were watching The Witcher. What do you think? Apparently you liked it. James Lucas sent a $4.99 super chat. Hey, John, love the filthy. Biggest complaint, the impact Rey Palpatine has on the legend of Anakin and the Skywalkers, casual fans won't get it. Yeah, I don't know. My whole problem with the movie is not, it's just that it like makes Rey the most important person in this, like all 9 movies ultimately, and I felt that, she didn't earn it. It was just, I just didn't like all of where we wound up with Rey, although I really did like the Rey Kylo Ren relationship in the movie. I mean, I really did. I thought what was going on. Same with Last Jedi. If it had been more planned out, there was some really good stuff going on there, and I did like it. Simon said a $4.99 super chat. Can you imagine what the old lady would have done if Rey told her that she is Palpatine's granddaughter? Yeah, I don't know. What's she gonna do now? She's had quite the experience over the last 3 movies. Can she talk to anybody about it? Like, hey, did you know that I'm Senator or Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter? I am Sheev's granddaughter. Can you believe that? A little weird. Blake tipped $5. Ready for Rey and Baby Yoda to rebuild the Jedi Order. I love the movie. I do see the flaws in it, but as with Endgame, the payoffs were worth it for me. Still wish Luke had been handled differently the whole trilogy, but overall, I enjoyed it. Blake, I'm with you there. A fan of Peanuts sent a $5 super chat. Sorry, John. I had to leave in the middle of my 4 messages to you. Everybody left for breakfast like very fast, and I was on my PS4 texting super chats. Well, a fan of Peanuts, we're glad to have you. Anonymous tip $5. Do you think Kathleen Kennedy should resign at this point? Absolutely not. Whether you like the movie or not, a movie is made to make money, especially a studio movie, and it is making money. It's making a lot of money. So I think Kathleen Kennedy's, her track record, she's basically 4 to 5 movies. How many producers make 5 movies and 4 of them are going to wind up grossing $1 billion? You don't fire anybody who's done that. I'm sorry, you just don't. Unless, all of the tumult behind the scenes can't be blamed on her necessarily. I mean, she brought the films in, stuck the landing. Ryan Lohner said a $5 super chat. I guess that kid with the broom at the end of The Last Jedi had exactly as much purpose as the dirt rising off Superman's grave. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I'm waiting. But you're probably right there, Ryan. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. Amir tipped $7. Who would have thought crossing the streams would also destroy all the Sith? Well, Venkman, Stentz. No, I'm just kidding. I thought that was funny. But your comment was funny. I wouldn't have thought that. But, I'm not Gozer the Gozerian. He could have. Is Gozer a Sith Lord? Could be. Never know. Tom Foster tipped $6.96, 1 out of 2. Well, John, we finally agree on a Star Wars movie. Palpatine is my favorite character. What were you going to say the other night about Anne and Palps? But to give us no answer on how exactly he survived felt cheap. Ian McDiarmid was excellent as always. Wait. So now Star Destroyers have planet-destroying super weapons. I know it's sci-fi fantasy, but this really lost the believability factor. Plus, why did First Order Star Destroyers start falling from the skies across the galaxy at the end? Best wishes from the UK. I am right there with you. All of that is gobbledygook to me. None of it makes sense. I mean, the funny thing, if you go back and you watch Star Wars, the first Star Wars, not A New Hope, Star Wars, the way I saw it, the way it was originally put out, Star Wars had what I like to call verisimilitude. You believed it, and all of the added details, you never asked, wait a minute, why? I mean, maybe audiences today would, but at the time, you never did. You followed along, you went with it, because the story was simple, but there was all this interesting detail, but nothing happened in the movie where you went, that couldn't happen. You didn't go, wait, what? These new Star Wars, this new prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy, you're asking yourself, wait, how could that happen? Simon sent a $1.99 super chat in. Now that we know Rey is a Palpatine, then help me understand the point or the purpose of the mirror scene in The Last Jedi, where Rey asked her parents Rey asked who her parents are, but it just showed herself. I don't know, man, and it bummed me out. I love that scene in The Last Jedi, and they didn't really pay it off. I mean, I like the idea that Palpatine was cloning people. That's why I thought if she's Palpatine's granddaughter, that she was a clone. One of many. And maybe a lot of them would have come out. Who knows? Simon sent a $4.99 super chat. Armchair quarterbacking. When Rey fought Palpatine with one lightsaber, she could have freed one hand to use her lightning to overpower Palpatine. Yeah, I know. I know, man. I know. Andy, I agree. Andy Joseph sent a 553 super chat. John, you often say you're a nobody, but I suspect we'll soon discover you're a Palpatine. I can guarantee you that John Campea is not a Palpatine, if only because he comes from Canada, and as John will tell you, all people from Canada, at one time or another, are good Canadian kids, and who am I to argue? A fan of Peanuts sent a $5 super chat in. Watched The Rise of Skywalker, 6.5 out of 10. Was disappointed, but I still liked it a lot. It was rushed and it had too much exposition. Slow down, damn it. I felt the first 1 hour and 40 minutes went too quick. The only thing I can say I truly, truly hated was the Sith dagger. Too convenient. Whatever. What saved the film for me was Kylo and Rey's story and struggle together. I really lived them. That saber fight on the ocean was great. Han showing up gave me the feels. Well, a fan of Peanuts. Bottom line, I had a lot of problems, but my brain told me it wasn't good, but my heart won the day. JJ knows how to bring the feels. Final shot I loved. Well, a fan of Peanuts, I gotta tell you, I really love the battle on the Death Star ruins in the water. And I love seeing Han show up. I loved all of that. I too got choked up. I thought that was visually something we hadn't seen in a movie before, a Star Wars movie, and I really enjoyed all of that. I wish all of that story was much more cohesive from the from The Force Awakens on through. I thought that was the best part of the movie. Mike Noir sent a $5 super chat. I love the movie, but someone had sex with Palpatine? Furthermore, he was concerned with sex at some point? Can't imagine Palpatine being romantic at all. I'm telling you, it was all cloning. Cloning. A fan of Peanuts sent a $5 super chat. I feel the way they acknowledge Luke in The Rise of Skywalker admitting he was wrong before only means that Ryan told his story perfectly and gave Luke that coming full circle arc and lesson he learned by The Rise of Skywalker. That much played very evident by passing down what he learned to stop Rey from burning the lightsaber. Look, I agree. I liked all of that a lot. I thought it was all really good. I loved Luke in The Rise of Skywalker. I thought all the scenes were great, even though I thought he destroyed his X-Wing, but oh well, whatever. But I did really like it a lot. A fan of Peanuts sent a $5 super chat. John, I really wanted The Rise of Skywalker to be good. After I watched it 2 times, I decided to go over and watch Cats. Immediately following, I went back and rewatched The Rise of Skywalker. And, well, I increased my enjoyment a full point up on my score. I am a much happier Star Wars fan. John, I recommend you try this. This is the way. This is the way. Oh, this is the way. Yes, and you keep going. Thanks for supporting the channel this way, fan of Peanuts. Pros for me, the acting was great. Kylo and Rey's connection, great. Minus the kiss, but I get it. Hey, they're connected. The music, the cinematography, and visuals, yes. Cons, opening crawl, the rushed 45 minutes, the Emperor, how they used him was cheap. I wanted Anakin or Luke to fight at the end, and light skipping. John, you? I tend to agree with all of that. I would like to have... I just wish the movie was a lot more focused and the script wasn't so all over the place. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about the whole thing. Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. The most surprising cameo, Pogo from the Umbrella Academy fixing Kylo's mask. Man, what was that all about? Suddenly Lancelot Link was in there fixing Kylo's mask. I'm sorry, but I understand, we want to have diversity of species in these movies, but that was a little weird. Jonathan Hernandez sent a $5 super chat. Just saw the movie with my 11-year-old son. We both loved it. My favorite of the new trilogy. A lot of the fan theories are spot on. Have a good day. Well, Jonathan Hernandez, you're a good father. Excellent that you took your son. But yeah, they were. Fan theories were spot on. Kind of crazy. But I'm glad you both enjoyed it together. Was that your son's first Star Wars movie in the theater? Or when he was 9, did you take him to see The Last Jedi? And when he was 7, did he see Force Awakens? But you're a good dad nonetheless. A fan of Peanuts sends another chat in. What was a moment you absolutely loved, John? Mine was the entire sequence of the Death Star and ocean fight through the end of Han's memory scene with Kylo. Well, like I just said, a fan of Peanuts. Me too. I hated the dagger. I love the final shot. You? Well, since you're sending in super chats, I'll keep reading them. But yes, I didn't like the dagger either. I thought that was so lame. And who programmed C-3PO 6 million forms of communication, but he can't speak Sith? Like, who's going to do that? I mean, when was he made? Like, I understand Anakin made him in Phantom Menace, but who programmed him not to speak Sith? It wasn't Anakin Skywalker, I can tell you that. When did this occur? Didn't make any sense. A fan of Peanuts said, if you could have one thing change, what do you choose? I would want all three movies to have been conceived of together, and perhaps a single director. This is you're going on. If you could have one thing to change, what would you choose? With how rushed this clearly felt, a fan of Peanuts says, how come it's so bad to simply make this film episodes 9 and 10 here to allow a proper 2-film ending for JJ's vision? Yeah, the economics there are really difficult to deal with. That's a fan of Peanuts there. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. A fan of Peanuts goes on, why couldn't they just do two and a half hour films, kind of in the vein of Infinity War and Endgame? It just would have been so much more cohesive for JJ. Why not? You know what? That requires a lot of planning and a lot more money, and they didn't do that, which, unfortunately, I think the film would have benefited if they had. A fan of Peanuts also sends a $5 super chat. I like this a lot, but it was very disappointing for easy-to-fix reasons. Why couldn't Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy just say slow down and release episode 10 next year? Well, you know, it's funny. Our version, you have to remember, the fan version of what we think is good and bad is not necessarily what Hollywood thinks is good and bad. If a movie's making money, that's the goal. You want to have a hit film. That's what everybody wants, and this movie's a hit film. For better or for worse, you've got to understand that as far as Hollywood is concerned, this movie's a big success. A fan of Peanuts also goes on to say, the moments I choked up in were Chewie falling to his knees when Leia died. That hurt a lot. That father and son moment mirroring The Force Awakens, playing the inverse. I choked up at that scene, but I teared up when the X-Wing got lifted out of the water and you heard the music from Empire. And I did choke up when Chewie got his medal, to be honest. I did. Jeep tipped $10. First tip, says Jeep. Well, thank you, Jeep. Thanks for supporting the channel. I enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker, but was also kind of disappointed with it. There are things that don't make sense for me, like the whole Rey Palpatine thing that opens up too many plot holes from my point of view. Where's the next of your tips? How come this entire time we've known Palpatine, it has never been hinted at that he had a personal relations with someone or had a son? Also, if Palpatine knew his lineage was powerful, why did he spend all of his time focusing on the Skywalkers? Jeep, very good questions, and they kind of don't make a whole lot of sense. And you're right. And that's why I think there's cloning involved. It was crazy. But you're right about all of that. And these are questions that are going to be pondered for a long, long, long time to come. Ben Birdside sent a $5 super chat, 1 of 2. In The Last Jedi, I felt like I nitpicked a little too much on things that didn't matter. So with this movie, I wrote a list of positives and negatives, and I found out that I was not nitpicking with the movie. A lot of my complaints involved the central plot. This movie was not for me. Well, Ben, I totally respect your opinion. I can absolutely see that because there's a lot of wackiness that goes on in this movie. Kyle Ginder sent a $4.99 super chat. I didn't like Kylo Ren getting redemption, making Rey a Palpatine, and the way they used the Emperor. The film just felt predictable to me. Kyle, I'm right there with you. I thought it was at best lazy. I wasn't into it. Ben Birdside said negatives. I found out that I already read that. Yeah. But I agree. Tom Weinberg tipped $6.96. Never felt so nervous during a Star Wars opening crawl. And with all the negativity I'd heard online from friends, I was expecting a hot mess. But I'm shocked, John. I'm shocked at how much I liked it, maybe even loved it. Well, Tom, you should like things. It's good to like things. And if you like Rise of Skywalker and it worked for you, embrace that. Own it. Because how many things in life can you really say that you love? And when you like something, like it. It's all good. Poe Cameron tipped $5. I could yammer about the stuff that didn't work in Rise of Skywalker, but why? I don't need everything justified. I get so much joy from Star Wars, and this is a Star Wars-heavy film, but Kylo redeemed, fake deaths, palps, etc., etc. I can see why you didn't like it, John. Yes, Poe Cameron, you are correct in your reasoning. But, again, I don't begrudge anybody for liking anything, nor should anybody else. Alex Haynes sent a $10 super chat. 2 endgame moments in this movie. Lando saying all of us in the comm link on your left, and Rey's and I am all of the Jedi, and I am Iron Man. They were the exact same beats. Yes, I think that those are probably reshoots, and I think they were probably heavily influenced by, of course, Endgame. Alvin Elmore sent a $5 super chat. They revealed Rey was a Palpatine in The Last Jedi. It would have had way more impact and shock. It just felt like damage control in Episode 9. Alvin, I agree with you. It should have been revealed. They should have been building up to it. The Emperor could have been in the whole. You should have seen the New Republic, as I've said. The Rise of Sky or the Force Awakens should have seen all the classic characters: Luke, Han, Leia, Lando. The New Republic, Chewie, R2, 3PO. The New Republic was going strong, and Palpatine's resurgence should have been the underlying whatever. And we spend the next 2 movies paying that off and learn about the Force and all kinds of craziness. That's what I would have done, but that would have taken planning. Ben Burnside said a $5 super chat. Leia training with Luke? What the fuck? To me, that should be viewed as a way bigger deal than it was in this movie. Leia seemed to never care about being a Jedi. Look, Ben, I liked seeing them train. I liked it, but it was like, yes, sir, it is a way big deal, and it's a flashback. I mean, kind of like how Return of the King opened with Smeagol and Deagle fishing, and Smeagol finds the Ring of Power and kills Deagle. I mean, that was a flashback. We should have seen like that. Again, if you're going to make a trilogy, everybody should just watch Return of the King. Or just go back and watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies and see how it's done. Because they're so well done and so well structured. Star Wars deserve that. Ben Burnside also says, after 3 films, the Knights of Ren and Maz Kanata feel like wastes of characters, especially the Knights, who were hyped up as badass since before The Force Awakens. The Knights of Ren were punks. They didn't do anything. You learn nothing about them. You don't see them. Why are they even doing any? Why do they follow Kylo Ren? Just because? I mean, I hate that. J.J. Abrams always does that. It's like somebody comes up with a page in the visual dictionary, he throws them in and expects us to get excited. Do you know why people aren't? I have a theory. You know why people haven't been buying the merchandise? Like, as everyone knows, I collect Hot Toys figures. Hot Toys figures from this new sequel trilogy don't sell well, along with, as many other websites point out. They are not selling well. Do you know why they're not selling well? They're not selling well because those characters are not indelible. They're not burned into your subconscious. You're not worshiping the characters the way I worshipped Luke Skywalker and Han Solo when I was a kid. I don't care about any of these characters. I'm watching them. But I'm certainly, they're not interesting enough. I mean, a lot of them, like Poe and Finn, I think Rise of Skywalker, they were the best they've been. And I like seeing all the characters working together. But you're never going to love these characters. There's something missing from their DNA, their makeup. John E. tipped $5. He says, the second I saw the dead speak a la War, it was like, shit. Wasn't a fan of The Last Jedi, but I was disappointed they ignored Luke's spark of hope at the end. That to me is how they redeemed the problems I had with it, not one-line apologies. I know. And you know what? After you saw War in the crawl for Revenge of the Sith, what did you see next? The camera pans down. You saw War. The battle over Coruscant. You're right there. But when you see the dead speak, you don't hear them speak. You never hear that galactic message. Nobody ever plays. It's so weird. Bill Hauser tipped $5. Poe, I was a fool to think we could take them all. Lando, Cap on your left. Palpatine, I'm inevitable. Rey, and I'm all the Jedi, and dies. The end really reminded me of Endgame, but not in a copycat kind of way. Loved 7, hated 8, and loved 9 the most. Well, Bill, Mr. Hauser, I'm glad you did, because it's good to love things. Adrian tipped $5. Sunday's Star Wars spoiler discussion. How did you feel about the title of Episode 9? Did it suit the movie? Would you have rather gone with a different title rather than Rise of Skywalkers? Adrian, I would have. I would have gone with something different because the Skywalkers did not rise. 2 of them were put forever. Well, yeah, 2 of them were put forever in the ground, and Rey just took the name, which, I don't know how I feel about that. She wasn't a Skywalker. JPQ Stevens said a $1.99 super chat. The Rise of Skywalker is better than Return of the Jedi, in my humble opinion. Sorry, John. Ooh, JPQ, can't go with you there, man. The battle at the end between the Emperor, Vader, and Luke, that was peak Star Wars, and there was nothing in that final scene with Palpatine in this movie that came close to that. I'm sorry. The music, the whole thing. Eric DeRiggi sent a $2 super chat. Chris Stuckman was spot on. He was pretty spot on. I'm a big fan of Chris Stuckman. I think he's a very astute movie reviewer. He's fair. He's pretty great. And he was spot on. Anonymous tip $5. Hi, John. Sorry to hear you didn't like it, but that's the subjectivity of movies, like you always say. I love Rise of Skywalker. Two cry time moments for me were Chewie finding out Leia had died and when Luke used the Force and raised the X-Wing. Merry Christmas, John. Well, Anonymous, thank you. I agree with you. That was some cry time for me, too. And I'll tell John you said Merry Christmas. McDavid Deserves Better sent a $5.29 super chat. The root cause of most issues in the trilogy stem from a lack of overarching narrative. I needed a defined start and a middle and an end. It felt random at times. I agree, man. Again, they have to plan these things in advance to make them work. Otherwise, they're not going to work. Anonymous tip $5. The kiss between Ben and Rey at the end made my heart soar. Rey and Kylo Ren and Ben were the heart and soul of the new trilogy, and I was happy with how it ended. In a way, Rey was never alone because Ben's life force lives within her now. Very bittersweet and hopeful. I think you're right. I like that comment, Anonymous. I like that. McDavid Deserves Better sent a $5.29 super chat. Bless Hayden for trying. But can you imagine how much Adam Driver would have crushed it as Anakin? He's perfect casting for that dark intensity. He is, man. That would have been great to see. Anonymous tip $5. Is it weird to say that I like you didn't like it? Because it speaks true to what you preach. Film and art is subjective. I feel that JJ and the cast and crew finished the trilogy wonderfully. I wish Kylo hadn't died, but it is what it is. Endgame-like ending? Meh. I like the film very much as it ranks higher for me on my list. I just wish the fans weren't so weird on it. Bring back Ryan. JJ is an idiot type of talk is flat out annoying. Either you like it or you don't. The trilogy is done. Thanks, John. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I like those definitive comments you made, Anonymous. But I don't disagree. People like it. I think I think it's a good thing. If they don't, well, that's good too. But I think your comments are pretty spot on. Gareth Tucson sent a $2.58 super chat. Why introduce 3 new characters in the last movie? Man, I don't know. What was that all about? To give Poe... I mean, what is it with these movies? Poe doesn't get any nookie. Finn doesn't get any nookie. I mean, it's kind of a bummer. I don't want to live in the Star Wars universe. I want to live in a universe where I can kiss a girl. Brandon L. sent a $1.51 super chat. I want C-3PO and Babu Frick buddy cop movies. I love Babu Frick, I gotta say. Babu Frick got me. Hawker Walks sent a $4.99 super chat. No way bringing Palpatine back was the plan from the beginning. Biggest mistake was not having JJ and Rian Johnson on the same page from the beginning. Don't disagree with that, Hawker. Ray Palps tipped $5. Love the movie as a whole. Highlights were Ben and Han scene, Ray giving her saber to Ben, and he did the little Han shrug. Lastly, Ray uttering "Be with me" at the end, and you hear Order 66 transition to Ray's theme and then Palp's theme. So good. Yeah, I did like all that. I think you're right. See, I mean, it's interesting hearing everybody and what you guys like and what you didn't like, because I think this movie's really a mixed bag. When I was watching it, there was stuff I really loved and stuff I really hated. It all coexisted. And if that's the case, at least the movie was somewhat watchable for me. I mean, I certainly did enjoy that aspect of it. See Me sent a $2 super chat. Reminder, talk about Anne and Palpatine. Yes, everybody wants to know that. I'll make sure John talks about that. Bill Hauser tipped $5. I was all about Disney buying Lucasfilm, but didn't think they really needed episodes 7 through 9. I think that the story concluded in 6, but maybe a saga too. Episodes 1 through 3. Anyway, JJ did his best with what Ryan left him, and I love the outcome. Merry Christmas, guys. Bill, I don't necessarily disagree with you there. I don't know why they needed to continue on with the Skywalker saga. It had ended. They could have just... Because you had your main characters there. This was all like a peripheral side story, so I don't disagree. That Norwegian guy sent an $11 super chat. What I find interesting is that despite being a third movie in a trilogy, you can skip The Last Jedi and get up to speed pretty quickly in Rise of Skywalker. JJ went out of his way to retcon The Last Jedi. I agree. But we needed more. We needed to know more of what was going on. They needed more setup. All 3 movies should have been planned. 3C Films tipped $5. Fan theory, Rey is pregnant. Kylo's life force on Rey's stomach used to create life. Also, why she goes to Tatooine to raise it the way Luke was raised. Trilogies end and start with the child. Rise of Skywalker is not Ben turning good or Rey, but instead the baby. Could be. Not a bad film theory, but I don't know if I want to see that. Enough. I want to see new stories in the Star Wars universe. Connor Farley sent a $6.45 super chat. I think if I was to put this movie into a genre other than sci-fi, it'd be pure action, more so than the other Star Wars movies. Yeah, I think it had a lot of action, but sometimes at the expense of story. I think, look, that battle on the Death Star wreckage and the relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren, I think was really the best part of this movie. And all the interesting conversations they were having with the Force. I liked all that. I wanted to see more of that and explore more of that. Heck, if they made this movie just about Rey and Kylo Ren, it would have worked. DClem1 sent a $10 super chat. Hey, John, happy holidays to you and your family. Once again, the cliffhanger on us of Finn and Rey getting together. Instead, do a Kylo and Rey awkward kiss. Overall, I do like it. Take care. Keep it filthy. Yeah, I mean, poor Finn. Poor that guy. He deserves somebody. Dylan Trost sent a $1.99 super chat. Did the Jedi take over or possess Rey at the end? I don't know. They could have, but there's too much possessing and healing flesh and all that. That's not what's supposed to be going on, man. You know, you become one with the living Force. I get all that, but you're not a god. Now the Jedis are gods. I don't like that. Senior Film sent a $2 super chat. So Finn was Force sensitive, right? He was, but I don't think that's what he was going to tell Rey. Ravan sent a $5.50 super chat. Hey, John, what was Finn supposed to tell Rey? We never found out. Was he going to tell her how he feels about her? I don't know. He could have. Instigator said, I think he was going to say he loved her. That's what I honestly believe that. Instigator sent a $5 super chat. I thought it was sort of poetic. The two families that once ruled the galaxy set it free in the future. Kind of true. Yes, absolutely. Marcellus tipped $5. Was that Marcellus Wallace? Why is it that in the opening crawl it says the Emperor put out a transmission in the galaxy and that everyone was aware he was back, yet later the Resistance acts surprised when they get the message from the spy saying he's back? I don't know. And by the way, why would Palpatine broadcast he was back? Like, tonight, Sheev Palpatine going to be interviewed on the Joe Rogan show. I mean, what? Like, why would you do that? Just do what you do, take over the galaxy, blow up some planets, kill millions of people, and that's how you let people know you're back. You're not like, I'm back. I'm come back to torment the galaxy. Why would you do that? I mean, you know what Vito Corleone said in The Godfather, never let anyone outside the family know what you're thinking. Truer words were never spoken, especially when you're Sheev Palpatine. Don't tell people what you're going to do. You just do it. Like Adrian Veidt in The Watchmen. I'm not some Republic serial villain, Dan. I did it 35 minutes ago, or whatever he said. I love Adrian Veidt. Mars V sent a $4.99 super chat. As a lifelong Star Wars fan that's African-American, I find the Finn space janitor character to be offensive, stereotypical, and a bit racist. Well, Mars V, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, look, it's always great to see different kinds of people, more diversity in the galaxy, because after all, you know, the galaxy, there's so many damn aliens, so let's see more people of color from the human sector. And I thought that they had a great opportunity. They set up a war veteran who's suffering from PTSD, and they never really delved into it. I thought that he wasn't a great character, but I did think that John Boyega was given the most to do in Rise of Skywalker, and I really enjoyed him, and I really liked the chemistry he had with Poe. And I liked what they did, and it made me realize, like what you said, I wish I would have seen more of him. I mean, a janitor, he's a stormtrooper and he's a janitor. It's like, come on, they have droids. Why would a human stormtrooper be a janitor? They would have cleaning robots. The whole idea was stupid. It's kind of like, why would you give battle droids binoculars like they have in the Phantom Menace? I mean, why don't you just, if they need to see, give them ocular implants that worked? I don't know. A lot of wacky stuff. Anyway, Michael Jones sent a $10 super chat. Hey, John, happy Sunday to my friend. Do you think the Russo brothers should direct the Old Republic if Lucasfilm goes in that direction? By the way, bring the filthy. Yeah, I think they could. I mean, I think they could do a great job. But you know what? I want to see somebody else, like, get David Fincher. I want to see a perfectionist direct a Star Wars movie. That's what I want to see. The Werebear sent in a $9.99 super chat. What was Finn going to say to Rey? That he loves her? That he's Force sensitive? That's what bugged me the most. The Man of Steel 14-year-old from the 100-view party. Hopefully you remember me. Oh, okay. So maybe John, the 14-year-old from the 100-view party. I guess that the other 100 million view party that John had. Maybe you were the 14-year-old at this 100 million view party, I think. I'm sure John will remember you. Thanks for writing in. I appreciate supporting the channel. Amber Nail sent a $2.21 super chat. I loved The Rise of Skywalker. Enjoyed every minute. Good on you, sir. It's always good to love things. Life is too short. When you find something you love, hang on to it. Watch it over and over again, preferably on physical media, like 4K. Frantic Gustav sent a $6.11 super chat. Can we talk about the first scene with Kylo's slaughter? Batman v Superman warehouse vibe scene. Yeah, I know. Crazy. Gareth Tucson sent a $2.58 super chat. Tired of super weapons and planets being destroyed. Yeah, I am too. I really am. Jedi Master 677 sent a $5 super chat. I'm confused. Is it implied that the Emperor survived the Death Star? Also, so much for the story group making a cohesive canon. Contradictions abound. Yeah, I am right there with you. Kind of a little crazy. How? Please tell me how did Sheev get out of that? He was tossed off and fell. You can't just do that. I mean, J.J. Abrams does that. It drives me crazy. He's one of my least favorite directors. It's like, really, do you have to do that kind of shit? JPQ Stevens sent a $1.99 super chat. Come on, John. The Force Awakens had the same or more conveniences. Did it? I don't know. Although it really did. That's J.J. Abrams, man. Mr. Jimmy Jam sent a $5 super chat. Hey, John, two things. One, hint of Rey's lineage in The Force Awakens. She fought with Palpy's saber style. Why was that movie called The Rise of Skywalker? Did she fight with saber style? I don't know. I think that was just a coincidence. The Rise of Skywalker, again, not really appropriate. I don't. It's like these characters don't have their own identity. Rey was never Skywalker. She just decided to take the name. I don't know. The Nightmare sent a $9.99 super chat. And Luke's ship at Dagobah was lifted out of the swamp and he flew it. And you're complaining about unlocked Sith sympathizer ships. Yeah, but you know what? It's different because spaceships, I mean, when he sealed his cockpit in Empire, he crashed, but it was still watertight. It was a space-faring vessel. So there's no reason to believe that it couldn't sit there. But look, we watched The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian parks his ship somewhere and within moments, a sandcrawler shows up and Jawas strip it. And you're telling me that a spaceship that's on top of a mountain or a hill in the middle of a desert, scavengers wouldn't get to that ship? I don't think it's the same thing. It was like, that bothered me. That bothered me that ship was sitting in the middle of the desert up on a hill where everybody could see it and nobody went into it for that long. Yeah, that kind of stuff bugs me. Michael Rathbone sent a $5 super chat. How did Palpatine get those ships built in a super secret location? All those builders knew where Exegol was, but nobody else did it. How did he pay for it? This is one of the things that drives me insane about J.J. Abrams as a filmmaker and why I really don't like anything that he's made. Because when you watch a movie, there are things that you're asked to believe in. And a lot of these things you just take for granted. Like, when you watch a World War II movie, you don't wonder where all the armor came from. You understand that there was a war machine, that the opposing countries, whether it was the U.S. or Britain or France or Nazi Germany, were building these things. But when you're asking me to believe that Emperor Palpatine somehow came back and the tens of thousands of people that were working for him that weren't working for the First Order, and who are those people in that Sith temple? I mean, come on. I didn't believe any of that. You did not make me believe or make it plausible that anything that Palpatine was doing made any sense at all. It didn't. And why wouldn't he start working? What was he waiting for? Boxing Day? I don't know. Why was he waiting he was just hanging out to do what? What was he waiting for? Was there one day when he was going to launch an attack on the galaxy? Why wasn't he already doing it? I don't know. Alan Swanson said a $9.99 super chat. Why does J.J. Abrams hate Mark Hamill so much? No lines in The Force Awakens and 5 minutes in The Rise of Skywalker. He could have trained Rey and avoided Leia. Yeah, I don't know, man. Alan, I am with you. I think a lot of people, R2D2 and Mark Hamill, were kind of done dirty. R2D2, I want to get a shirt, hashtag justice for R2. The Werebear sent a $4.99 super chat. Ultimately, I didn't hate The Rise of Skywalker. I was just disappointed. Also, the whole theater laughed at the third act, kiss and all. Palpatine died so fast. 100% right. Totally agree. TK sent a $5 super chat. Happy holidays, John, to you. Did you think when Palpatine was shooting lightning in the sky, he was going to say, I am Mum-Ra, the ever-living? Well, I didn't think he was going to say that, but that would have been funny if he did. Of course, you're crossing the streams there, I think. Jesus Zavala tipped $5. Leia's Ben moment is a Chris Terrio stamp. Don't you remember Martha in Batman v Superman? Also, who knew the Last Order had a Wi-Fi network on a Star Destroyer? Finn probably took out his phone and a notification popped up asking him to join the network. Yeah, all of that was just ridiculous. I mean, it was so silly and so ridiculously dumb. I mean, I hated all of that. Alex Burgos sent a $4.99 super chat. That kiss on screen was so unearned, and the way Adam Driver throws himself to the floor afterward made my whole theater laugh. That screen, that was laugh. That was ridiculous. Well, you know, it's also ridiculous because it doesn't really belong there. I mean, yes, it was a natural place to put it, I guess, but it really didn't belong in that movie. It really didn't. Extant Crab sent a $6.45 super chat. Lucky Ray didn't become one with the Force and disappear before she was brought back right away. Yeah, it's true. Mickey Altieri tipped $10. When Ray said to Papa Palps, and I am all the Jedi, or something like that, it reminded me of Iron Man to Thanos and Endgame. So obviously, actually, that was Ray, I was doing Palpatine as Ray's voice. That was wrong. Mickey, I'm wrong. Forget I said that. I just want to talk like Palpatine, because who doesn't? Unlimited power. Yeah, anyway. Thanos and Endgame. So obviously I snapped after she said it, and the guy next to me just started laughing. It was great. Well, I'm glad you did, because it was kind of funny. And I'm glad that the guy next to you, isn't it great when anonymous audience members in movie theaters with you understand what you're laughing at or are in on the joke? I love when that happens. Wrathforce sent a $10 super chat. Palpy lied to Kylo and Rey to get them both to bring their unique bond before him so he could siphon that and restore the one true Emperor. Empress and kill her Kylo were lies, John. Probably, but, you know, we needed to see all of that. And again, they just didn't give me what I needed to believe all of that was happening. Eric Silva Gomez sent a $1.99 super chat. Palpatine's role in the film was a cop-out. You know what? Can't disagree with you there. Can't disagree with you. Zachary Bartron tipped $10. Palpatine not screaming unlimited power. See, I can say it finally. While force lighting all the ships was a missed opportunity. Totally. He needed more lines. Rob Avalar sent a $2 super chat. Felt the humor was natural and not forced like The Last Jedi. I did. I liked the humor a lot more in this movie. I really did. I thought it was much better. I liked the camaraderie. I liked the characters working together. Much, much, much better. Good stuff. Dancing Dog 60 sent a $2 super chat. I hope this kills the fandom menace. A-holes. Well, you know, look, remember everybody, the Fandom Menace channels, ultimately they too are fans, and whether they are misguided in certain viewpoints they might have, we all love Star Wars, and I think in a way it's always necessary. You know, if you like something and people are telling you that you shouldn't, or they're telling you what's wrong with what you like, I don't necessarily think it's always a bad thing, because it makes you reconsider your own opinion, and it can probably help you strengthen and understand why you like things. So, yeah, I do think, look, I think that discourse online should be much easier and better. I think knowing a lot of fans, I've been in the fan community most of my life, and there's some really great people out there, and I think we've kind of lost sight of what it is that we love in the first place, and I think we need to get back to that. So we'll see. Dylan Troost sent a $1.99 super chat. So spoilers in the German Burger King app were true. Were they? I didn't see the German Burger King app. You know, they were, I guess. They were. Troublesome tip $5. Am I wrong for feeling happy that I actually get to see a movie version of the Dark Empire series of comics? The Emperor resubstantiates in a previously unknown dark side fortress, uses clone tech, and eventually attempts to take over someone's body. Dude, I'm right there with you. For those of you who have not read the Dark Horse comic, the first was Dark Empire. I really like Dark Empire. Dark Empire comic kind of came out concurrently with the Thrawn trilogy, and they kind of worked together back in the early 90s. And there was a lot of Dark Empire in Rise of Skywalker. There were. I don't know if anyone will ever get credit for that, but it's definitely there. You're not wrong. Paul McElliott sent a $4.99 super chat. Also, there was never any mention of Palpatine having a family. Wouldn't that be common knowledge? Was Palpy banging an intern? I don't think so. I think it was probably cloning technology. That's kind of what I was. It's kind of what I was thinking. Michael Rathbone sent a $2 super chat. Why are Star Destroyers using the big cannon against fighters? I don't know, dude. Honestly, that was some wacky stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing J.J. Abrams ever does with spaceships, from having the Starship Enterprise underwater to putting giant Death Star cannons on Star Destroyers. I get it. They're Star Destroyers for real now, but come on, man. Eric Silva Gomez sent a $1.99 super chat. I could not invest because no groundwork was laid. I agree with you, Eric. There need to be a lot more groundwork. Stubble McShave sent a $2 super chat. Why did Palpatine tell Kylo to kill Rey in the beginning? I don't know. If he could be turned, he would be a valuable asset. I don't know, man. I don't know, Stubble. You know what? We got to consult somebody. The Wheel of Time books were much better written. Wouldn't you agree? Dylan Trost sent a $4.99 super chat. As a huge Return of the Jedi fan, the climax felt dull to me. Palpatine confrontation didn't feel like a saga closing confrontation. I'm right there with you, sir. Right there with you. Again, it all comes from the lack of cohesiveness in the writing. John Osborne sent a $5.29 super chat. I think when Kylo gave his life force to save Rey's life, with that essence, she became a Skywalker. Am I stretching too far? I don't know if you're stretching too far, but it's not earned. Rey is not a Skywalker. She never was. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe the Legend of Skywalker, it's just, it's all, I don't know. The problem is this prequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy, will never move out from under the original trilogy, and I think they should have gone a different direction. The Skywalker saga was done, and they should have kept going on and making it a different saga. Who knows? King Steph S sent a $5 super chat. I hated Last Jedi. I put my hope in Rise of Skywalker and was disappointed. The Mandalorian is the only thing keeping me going. Well, there's a lot of good Star Wars comics and books and video games, and Star Wars is going to be back, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. I think you'll be rewarded in the end. Michael Lee sent a $9.99 super chat. Why didn't Palpatine know about Rey and Kylo's Force connection? Last movie, Snoke said he linked them, and Palpatine was Snoke. And what was the purpose of the First Order? Feels redundant. It all was redundant. It breaks down the more you examine it, and it bothers me. So I'm right there with you. John E. tipped $5. Why the freak did Finn keep yelling at Rey when she's trying to fight Kylo Ren? Dude, does he want her to die? Let her concentrate. Jeez. Little things like that take away from the characters and the movie overall for me. Yes, John, I agree with you. That's all a direction thing. I'm not a fan of J.J. Abrams as a director. He does not create verisimilitude. I do not believe in the movies he makes because of scenes like that. It doesn't make much sense. You're not going to be yelling at somebody while they're in the middle of a duel with someone else who could kill them. The Nightmare sent a $14.99 super chat. Much love for your opinion. Fire. Well, I know that you're talking about John Campea, but you know what? I'm going to think just for a moment that is for me, and I'm happy that you love my opinion. It is fire. So thank you very much, by the way, for supporting the channel. I mean that. Stuart Schaefer sent a $2.58 super chat. Oh, hi, John. Where do you place Episode 9 in your Star Wars order? That's interesting. For me, it always has to start with Star Wars because it's the first, it set the tone, and Empire always has to come second because Star Wars and Empire, to me, are the essence of Star Wars. And then I'm probably going to have to say Return of the Jedi because even though I've said often that it was the most disappointing cinematic experience of my entire life, and that's something I should probably explain in depth one day. I won't do it here. But you have to have those three movies. You have to have, in order for anything else afterwards, or even before to work, you have to see the redemption of Darth Vader at the end of Jedi. And that scene between the Emperor, Luke, and Palpatine is peak Star Wars. It doesn't get much better than that. So yeah, so I gotta say, Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi first and foremost. Then I'd probably have to go with Revenge of the Sith, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Attack of the Clones, and Phantom Menace. That's what I do. At least that's what I'm doing right now. Ray Palps tipped $5. I wish they cut out the whole casino sequence in The Last Jedi, allocated that time with Kylo hearing Palpatine's voices, kill Snoke because he knew he was a fraud, and use more ending time to replace it with the beginning of Rise of Skywalker. Saves pacing and gives JJ groundwork. You know, if The Rise or The Last Jedi had begun on Canto Bight, you dropped us into the middle of a mission a la a James Bond movie with Rey and Rose, with Finn and Rose, and they had to get back to the rebel. Like what they were looking for was somebody to get them into the base on Crate or something, and you intercut that with the rebels, or pardon me, the Resistance fleeing their base before the Imperials arrived, and they had to get back there. It would have been better. I think the real reason people hate Canto Bight, I think, is, this is my theory, it comes in the middle of the movie where you're like, wait a minute, you just don't, by that point, you don't care. You don't care. You're in the middle of this chase with the First Order, and they light off to this story. You're like, wait, I don't care. We're in the middle of this tense standoff chase. Why are we leaving? I really think that was the biggest problem, is that they leave. It doesn't really work. But I don't disagree with you. Again, all of that would have been fixed, I think, if they had had a plan from the beginning. Mazen Kaiser Zero. I have a Mazen Kaiser. It's right over there. Sent a $10 super chat. Didn't it seem like Finn was learning to use the Force when he would sense Rey was in trouble? Also, what do you think of the new Force power to teleport things? I'll tell you something. I really enjoyed that he was able to pull a necklace off her. I know it's a little weird, but if you are a Force master, you can become a Force ghost. Because it's an energy field that surrounds us and binds us, I thought that was a really interesting, a very interesting new twist in the Force. But it had to be, maybe it's something that the Force dyad can do and nobody else. I thought it was interesting. I would like to have seen, again, I thought everything they did with Kylo and Rey in both The Last Jedi and in Rise of Skywalker was really, really interesting. And if they had started from the beginning and were doing with that from the beginning, and Rey, Kylo wasn't such a punk, an annoying idiot in The Force Awakens, it could have been really, really good. Stylo Ken sent a $10 super chat. Are you satisfied with the amount of explanation about Snoke? I made Snoke. Not enough for me. If you're Emperor Palpatine, why would you bother making a proxy? Did it take a while for you to regenerate? And if so, why did it take 30 years? Where you been? You know, none of that made any sense. And there's more Snokes being cloned. Or I made Snoke. Why didn't you have the cloners on Camino do it? I mean, there's so many questions that it rises. Maybe I'll have to go read the visual dictionary so it's all explained to me or something like that. Kevin Days sent a $5 super chat. Why does everyone in this trilogy die from using the Force too hard? That's not how the Force works. It invalidates the size matters not speech from the Empire. Well, Heaven, I agree. I don't know why everyone dies from using the Force. You'd think if people were dying from using the Force, nobody would use the Force anymore. Mr. Holbrook sent a $9.99 super chat. Are they trying to set up a Poe prequel with the Spice Runner bit? I doubt it, but you never know. I gotta say, Oscar Isaac, I really enjoyed him in Rise of Skywalker. You got to give him something to do. He's a great actor. Remember, he was Apocalypse. Taffy Venom sent $9.99 super chat. Okay, I'm just tuning in, but what do you think about Rey killing Palpatine? The way I see it, even though Anakin talked to her, his purpose is ruined. 1 through 6 now just feels ruined. I don't think it feels ruined to me. I think, look, that happened 30 years ago. The sacrifice was real. He brought balance to the Force or whatever. The galaxy was saved. You know, it's like when you win the Super Bowl. Just because you're not necessarily going to win the next year, it doesn't invalidate your victory the year before. It was still a victory. It was still a sacrifice. It still mattered. How would they know Palpatine was going to be able to come back? Sheepdog117 sent a $4.99 super chat. I know it means nothing, but both Rise of Skywalker and Joker have the same cinema score. No, but that's interesting. It's interesting. Howard D sent a $5 super chat. With everything 7 set up getting tossed aside in 8 and this one working as a course correction, how do you think the trilogy as a whole measures up? Well, I think the trilogy has good things and bad things in it. I think ultimately what we're going to learn from it is if you're going to make a trilogy of movies, it's better to have a plan going in, because otherwise you're never going to satisfy people. You got to have a plan going in. It's got to be carefully constructed, and really you got to ruminate over all the story points. The same way, and if you're not going to look at the way Pixar makes a movie, I mean, they previs things, they really work their scenes, and I know it's animation, but we have previs now. You'd think that they would take the time in previs to really work this stuff out, really make sure that it works. Mazen Kaiser sent a $2 super chat. The kiss and redemption at the end made no sense. Yeah, I know. Hey, John, I loved Babu Frick, my oldest friend. What I noticed in my third viewing, loved it, is that Ben basically said, I love you to his dad. Han said, I know, and we all know what that means. Follow-up question, what do you love most? Well, like I've been saying in this chat, I really did like all of that. The aftermath, the battle on that Death Star wreckage, I thought was really, really good. I thought it was a great scene, and it meant a lot. And I also did like the Kylo Ren scene with Rey when he pulled the necklace off of her. I thought that was really, really good. Logan Astrup sent a $4.99 super chat. I'm glad she finally built her own lightsaber. She used parts from her staff and it was yellow. Felt good to finally see her training complete. Yeah, I mean, I liked that. I thought it was good. It just felt a little weird. I mean, I know why they did it, Leia training her, but where did that come from? Even that was kind of out of left field. But that's okay. CK Gould tipped $5. For the film to play out with perfect logic and time, the runtime would have to be a month or a year. You're probably right about that. Mr. L sent a $12.89 super chat. Kylo feels Rey that he never lied to her, but go back and watch The Last Jedi. Rey is the one who says first, I am nobody. She realizes it on her own. Well, yeah, but then Rey gets it. She hears from Kylo that she's right. Heaven Days says sends a $2 super chat. What the heck is a Kylo Ren? Why wasn't he a Sith? Dude, I don't know. I still think he's just a guy who's playing in a Vader cover band. I understand he just liked his grandfather. Anonymous tipped $7. What I don't get is how Rey and Kylo force skipped and even end up in the lightsaber battle, but Luke, on the other hand, could only project himself, which ended up killing him. All of this is all over the place. They did not explain it very well, and I think that's a big weakness in this film. Jesus Zavala tipped $5. How did Kylo go from Kef Beer to Exegol? He took an Uber. Also, I like that the Last Order forgot to build TIE fighters so the Dothraki can charge the Star Destroyer. Also, doesn't Palpatine have telepathy, so wouldn't he know Kylo Ren had other plans? Jesus, you were right. Or Jesus, you were right there. I'm right there with you. Again, there's so much of that stuff that just doesn't make much sense, and it bothers me. Jedi Master 677 sent a $5 super chat. They explain what Smoke was not who he was. Gotta admit, this move left more questions than answers overall. I think that, yes, they just said Emperor created Snoke. That was kind of lame, to be honest. I felt that was kind of lame. Howard D sent a $5 super chat. The greatest disappointment for me is Finn. The idea of a Force-sensitive Stormtrooper turned Resistance member could have been done amazing if done right. I agree, Howard D. We had an earlier viewer who thought it was borderline racist. I agree. The whole idea of a PTSD Stormtrooper, what a great idea. We should have seen a lot more of that, and we didn't, and it bums me out. It should have happened. I'm right there with you, 100%. Josh Jada sent a $1.99 super chat. They hinted toward a Lando show on Disney+. I'd watch that. Oh, right. Yeah. You truly belong here with us amongst the stars. I would love that. I mean, amongst the stars, the Lando Calrissian story. Why not? You could jump back and forth like in the Indiana Jones Chronicles. You could get Donald Glover to play young Lando and have Billy D. Williams play old Lando and cross-cut between the two of them. Something like that. Jesus Zavala sent a $1.99 super chat. The dead speak, poorly written crawl. Yes, indeed. Totally agree. Taffy Venom sent a $9.99 super chat. Rey buries Luke and Anakin their sabers on Tatooine. Yes, the member berries are strong in that scene, but Anakin hated Tatooine and sand. Luke couldn't wait to get off. Leia visited once, but that's it. I agree, man. I understand that you wanted to get that shot of Tatooine and the twin setting stuns, but not cool for me. Didn't do it. It didn't make sense. Piggy66 sent a $2.21 super chat. I'm going to bet your candy ass if you keep swearing, BB. Uh, I'm going to beat. I think you mean beat your candy ass. I hope not. Should I not swear? Did I swear? I try not to swear. I swear a little. Stuart Schaefer sent a $2.58 super chat. I can't wait for JJ's take on Superman. He flies now. You know, I saw what J.J. Abrams' take on Superman was a while ago, and it wasn't that great. Flyby. Stuart Schaefer sent a $2.58 super chat. Well, thank you, Stuart. Daniel Garcia sent a $1.50 super chat. Thank you, Daniel. Very much appreciate that. Ben Carter sent a $5 super chat. I mean, she is a Palpatine. Maybe his evilness is a turn-on. Could be. I mean, the girls like the bad boys, don't you know? Alex Von Gollum sent a $3.78 super chat. Hey, Gio, the last gesture of Ben before passing was a smile, something he hadn't done or hadn't had in many years. I like the allegory a lot. Yeah, I like that. I think it was good. I just don't think he was redeemable. CK Gould sent a $2 super chat. Women like a-holes. Ben gets Ray, and I'm single. It's true. Maybe you should turn bad. No, don't do that. Ultimately, girls only stay with bad boys for a while. They really want to come home to the nice guys. You just have to, figure out what you can give them that satisfies that bad to the bone aspect of what they need in their lives. But you have to be nice when you do it. Alex Von Gollum sent a $1.51 super chat. How do you feel about the forced dyad concept? I like the forced dyad concept. I thought it was pretty good. Really did enjoy it. I thought it was an interesting twist, and they should have explored that mythology. The Gixer 73 sent a $5 super chat. I just want to know why Leia's saber was green when she used it, when she put it up, but blue when Rey used it. I don't know. Maybe it was a production error, but yeah. Or maybe when you build your own lightsaber later in life, it's always green. Thomas Roughly sent a $5 super chat. Thank you, Thomas. I shouted kiss during Finn and Poe's hug at... Oh, wait. Ryan Lohner sent a $5 super chat. I shouted kiss during Finn and Poe's hug at the end. No regrets. Max Sutton sent a $1.99 super chat. My thoughts on Rey's yellow lightsaber. I liked it. It looked cool. I was down. Scott Mix sent a $5 super chat. Why does the Falcon crash land and slide because of damaged landing gear? It can hover, as we saw when they rescued Rey. I don't know. And I hated that. As if they could just pick up and fly again. It really bothered me. No, like a ship just survives that kind of a landing. Henry K sent a $1.99 super chat. Well, thank you, Henry K. Rod V tipped $5. John, thank you for your show. I liked The Rise of Skywalker. I liked and disliked some stuff. One of the things I did not like was they turned the Knights of Ren into glorified stormtroopers. At one point, I thought they were going to give out speeding tickets. Well, you weren't wrong. I thought the Knights of Ren were not handled well. We didn't know anything about them. We needed to learn who they were. Zaggy's Faction sent a $2.21 super chat. After Kylo Ben's talk with Han, Ben says no words. Is that true? I bet it is. ZCM Zombie Custom Maps sent a $1.99 super chat. I think they should have divided this movie into two. I don't disagree. Max Sutton sent a $1.99 super chat. Rey Kenobi still sounds better than Rey Palpatine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I come to the end of this second part of the conclusion of your super chats from John's spoiler review of Rise of Skywalker. I want to say, first of all, I want to thank John for letting me do these. I like doing these videos. They're a lot of fun. And it's great. I'm glad the viewers seem to respond to them. So thank you. But most of all, I would like to say, from myself, a heartfelt thanks for supporting the John Campea Show, supporting everything that John does. John hires great people. He's got Ray Ora and Fact Checker Jonathan. He's also got Chris, of course, Chris Carr and Aaron Cummings and myself. I think it's a great team. I've really enjoyed working with John. I hope to be doing it for a long time to come. And I appreciate you guys supporting the channel through however you support the channel. But it's great that we have you as an audience. And it's just terrific to watch. So I want to thank you. I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I want to wish everyone happy holidays and all of that. I'm an imagination connoisseur, and I think Merry Christmas is an okay thing to say because everybody gets it. If you're going to get offended by it, I suppose you could be. But I like Merry Christmas because Christmas is like an imagination holiday. Whether you're watching It's a Wonderful Life, or whether you're watching Miracle on 34th Street, or whether you're watching The Year Without a Santa Claus, or Die Hard, or Lethal Weapon, or Gremlins, really, it's a great season. Happy New Year to all of you as well. I am Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me, of course, on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work, or find me on the John Campea Show. I play myself on that show. You can follow me on Twitter at BurnettRM, or find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett. And I want to thank you. Please join me, and please join us on the John Campea Show. And it's great to have an audience like you guys. Thank you for watching. I very much appreciate being a part of the show, and that you guys let us into your lives. And of course, may the Force be with you.